Over the last little while, Opel have released some really impressive cars. We've liked the Adam, we've liked the Corsa, and our impression of our long-term mocker was generally very positive. But no matter how good those cars may be or how well they might be doing sales-wise, all of it kind of pales into near insignificance when compared to the release of their latest model. The new Astra. It's been bandying about in Europe for the last few months, and it's already racked up an impressive hit list. It's come out on top of a number of comparative tests, and it's won the European Car of the Year title. Even so, there is rather a large amount of pressure for this car to succeed. And not just because the Opel boss has called it, quote, the most important car in our product portfolio. This car carries the weight of the Opel name on its shoulders. When people talk about important models, they talk about how important the 3 Series is to BMW or the Golf is to Volkswagen. And this car is exactly the same. Let me put it into a bit of perspective for you. That 3 Series has been in production for 41 years. The Golf has been in production for 42 years. The Astra, formerly known as the Cadet, has been in production since 1936. And they've sold over 24 million of the things. So this isn't just the latest model from a company rapidly producing a number of new models. It's essentially the re-establishment of one of the world's longest-running motor manufacturing names. And even if I hadn't told you about all those international awards, you'd still be able to see that they're off to a good start. Make that a great start. There is a definite Opelness to it, but it is certainly the most athletic one in the lineup. It's all taut surfaces and sculpted details, and it strikes a great balance between real aggression and real style. It's also simpler and cleaner and more striking than just about anything else in its class. Line it up next to its competition, the likes of the Volkswagen Golf, Renault Megane or Ford Focus, and the Astra will at the very least manage to hold your attention for as long as any of the others. For me, the front end is particularly good, with extremely tight lines and a seamless integration of all the elements. We're driving the top-of-the-range 1600 turbo, but even the entry-level 1-litre is as attractive. Just goes to show that what makes the Astra appealing isn't down to optional extras you might find on higher spec models, but rather really great design. Speaking of extras, this is where you'd expect to find a lot of them. Obviously, the higher up the model range you go, the better the toys get. So in here, for example, we have dual-zone climate control and cruise control. There's heated seats all round. There's USB and Bluetooth, or if you're a more advanced user, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. But what makes some of the features so impressive isn't so much what they are, but rather where they come from. Things like lane keeping assist, collision warning and keyless operation go together with active LED headlights, the first car in its class to feature this particular bit of kit, to form a package of tech that you would normally expect to find in more expensive, more luxurious cars. But this interior isn't just about the toys, it's beautifully done. An elegant dashboard has its controls where you need them, with a touchscreen interface to make things a little more slick. The cabin is filled with good materials and the space front and rear is top class. Despite this car being physically smaller than the previous generation, it has more room. Our test car is powered by a 147 kilowatt, 280 Newton meter 1600 turbo petrol, and we were given lots of space to check it out on the launch in the Eastern Cape. We'll get to the engine in a minute, but one of the especially impressive things about this car is the handling. Not so much the feel, because there isn't much of that, but the Astra is able to soak up all kinds of road conditions and consistently deliver good grip and real confidence. We did a lot of mileage on our test run, and it included highways and mountain roads of varying quality, but no matter where we were, the Astra felt sure-footed. There were actually a number of times where it genuinely surprised me with its ability to stick to the line with no drama at all, just solid cornering performance. Back to the engine. There are two other choices in the Astra lineup, both of which are petrol, a 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo and a 1.4-litre turbo. As for the 1600 turbo, well, it's got 147 kilowatts, 280 newton meters, 300 newton meters on overboost, and it is a really well sorted package. It's got good initial shove, decent mid-range ability, and I know there will be quite a few people who question why this car isn't available with an automatic gearbox, but I'm kind of glad it isn't. Because there's not a lot coming through the steering wheel or the chassis, having a manual gearbox adds a very welcome bit of involvement. With a good set of cogs and a smooth, easy action, the 6-speed manual adds an extra dose of enjoyment to an already enjoyable package. You've probably been watching this and thinking to yourself, what's the catch? And in my last 2 days with the car, I've been thinking exactly the same thing, but besides some higher than expected road noise, there really isn't one. The new Astra is good looking, it's comfortable, it's well spec'd, and it is very capable, and Opel have created something very special. But it gets better. The Astra can offer proper value. At the bottom end of the scale, the baseline 1 litre will cost you less money than you pay for a mid-spec VW Polo, which is phenomenal. A VW Golf spec to the same level as this car would cost around the same, but still wouldn't feature all the things this car does. And that goes for anything else in this class. Combined with all its other talents, the Astra should at the very least delete any doubt that Opel is back. The 11th generation Opel Astra is thoroughly deserving of all the good press and awards it's already received in its short life. The 1600 Turbo in particular offers good performance and comfort in a stylish and well-spec'd package. The only downsides are a cabin that lets in a little more noise than it should and a chassis that could do with more feel. But with next generation technology and a generally excellent drive, it's certainly right up there with the very best in its class.